Pancreatic cancer is the third leading cause of cancer-related deaths in the United States. The 5-year survival rate showing a slight increase just in the last several years. Joining us with more on this disease and the latest research is Rachel Burge, Communications Chair for the South Carolina affiliate of the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network, or PanCAN, and Dr. Erin Hobbs, Assistant Professor at MUSC. Great to have you both with us. And when you hear about pancreatic cancer, the first thing that you think about is that low survival rate. What can you tell us about pancreatic cancer today, who it affects, when people are typically diagnosed?
Yeah, so the pancreas it's an organ that secretes a lot of enzymes that help you break down food and also secrete insulin to control your blood sugar. And where it's located is behind the stomach but in front of the spine, so it's in a place that you don't often feel, and there's not a lot of symptoms. And so that unfortunately is one of the reasons that patients often get diagnosed in late stages, because the symptoms can be very mild.
Does it typically affect men or women disproportionately?
It affects slightly more males than it does females, but it's reasonably
Right. So there's about 60,000 new diagnoses per year in the United States, and that actually it makes it a relatively rare cancer. But then, as you highlighted, the mortality rate of it is quite high. The 5-year survival rate is now at 13%, and 10 years ago when I got into this field, it was at 6%. Wow. So we're making incremental steps as we go, and the disease is quite challenging to treat, in part because, as Rachel said, it's located deep inside your belly. Yeah. You can't feel it, and there's no easy early detection marker. And the lack of those early detection markers means that we only detect this cancer at stage 4.
Oh, is that right? So it's already too far gone at that point?
Right. So stage 4 is, to define that for people who may not be familiar, is metastatic disease. It's now not just in the pancreas, but it's in the lymph nodes. It's in other tissues within the body. Pancreatic cancer likes to metastasize to the liver, the lungs, and I think the brain is the third one. And once it's done that, it now becomes a systemic disease that is very difficult to treat.
This might sound like a silly question. Is there any such thing as a pancreas transplant?
So one of the most common procedures, if you catch it early, is something called a Whipple, where they can remove, depending on where the tumor is located, how big it is. You can have a procedure that can remove that tumor, but that isn't always the case.
So tell us about the work that you're doing with PanCAN. What is PanCAN?
So PanCAN is a national organization to help patients, and PanCAN's goal is really to create a world in which every pancreatic cancer patient will thrive. And as you know and said already, the survival rates are just very dismal for this disease. And so PanCAN was started in order to create a place that patients could go to get resources, to get access to nutrition advice, to be connected with a patient advocate that can help connect them with clinical trials that they might be eligible for.
And the work that you're doing at MUSC, even independent of these other organizations, is focused on pancreatic cancer and finding treatments and cures. So what work are you doing currently?
So our work in pancreatic cancer centers around a singular gene, right? And so our DNA, makes up who we are, and those genes can get mutated. And when that happens, you develop diseases in a lot of cases. In this case, the gene is called KRAS. And I only bring that one up because it's mutated in approximately 95% of all pancreatic cancer patients. So this is considered to be the initiating event that takes you from a healthy pancreas to the road to pancreatic cancer. That mutation is telling us more about this KRAS gene than we appreciated and what it's actually doing. And so what we think is actually happening with that subset of patients is it's defining how RAS is behaving in all pancreatic cancer patients.
Well, between your work and your work, hopefully we're going to get that survival rate much, much higher in due time. Now, PanCAN PurpleStride, there is going to be an event coming up Saturday, April 26th. So you want to put this on your calendar. Gates open at 7:30 a.m. It is going to be at the James Island County Park. So make sure, again, you put that on your calendar. You go out, you support pancreatic cancer research. I want to thank you both so much for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank
We're
you.
back after this.